Hi, I'm Christian.
And I'm Angela, and we are married
And bored.
Hey, everybody.
Hey.
That's my co-podcaster, Christian Peterson.
Yeah, everybody, welcome back to the Married and Bored podcast. My name's Christian.
And I'm Angela, and we are happy to be back.
Yeah, as always, we're just very happy that you guys are listening to us on this, at time of recording, Sunday night.
It is Sunday Night Football.
Yeah.
I've got my blanket wrapped around my shoulders because it's frigid here in Arizona.
Frigid. Can you explain what frigid in Arizona actually means?
Okay, well, let me look it up on my phone.
Okay.
If I was a wagering woman.
Yeah, I'm going to wager right now without looking, and I'm going to say that it is 72 degrees outside.
60-something. Look at that, 66.
Okay, and you're freezing?
It was a nip in the air.
Okay.
I hope all of you are staying warm out there.
Do you remember that you used to live in Minnesota?
I do remember that.
We both used to live in Minnesota.
The desert has thinned my veins. The desert. And it's made me a cold...
Weak.
Yeah. I'm not immune to the cold anymore.
I guess.
I remember when 66 used to be shorts weather.
Well, it feels great when it's coming out of a really cold winter.
Yeah.
But when you're coming from... Actually, and also when you're coming from 119, it also feels really great.
Yes.
But I guess for you, it's cold.
It's about the swing of temperatures.
Yeah. People in Arizona don't know how to do winter. I've lived here long enough to know that. I probably don't do winter well. I get made fun of at work for wearing a long sleeve shirt and shorts.
I think that sounds fine.
I know. Well, I do too. But obviously, people at work don't.
Okay. If you think a long sleeve shirt and shorts is not an okay outfit, please tell us why.
Yeah. Well, it's getting cooler. That means it's fall. Times are changing. Seasons are changing. Obviously, it's way colder everywhere else. You're probably inside playing some games, just like we are, and that's what we're here to talk about today. Angela, what's been going on in our house? What's up with you and games and
all sorts?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, as you know, but our listeners do not, I have been playing a lot of Marvel Champions.
That's true.
Not with Christian.
Oh.
Not solo. With our kids.
Yeah.
And if you are a new listener or perhaps just don't remember from when we've discussed it the last time, our kids are pretty little. They're 5 now and 7.
Yep.
And it was probably 10 days ago, maybe a week ago, when our daughter was like, I want to play Marvel Champions, because they know the characters and they see Christian and I play it.
Mm-hmm.
And my first thought in my head was, oh, no, you guys can't play that. And then I was just like, well,
let's see what happens.
Let's just see what happens, because I figured I'm going to start explaining it. They're going to lose patience. And then it'll be like, okay, all done. Because if I just say no, then it's like this forbidden thing that they can't do, and then they want it even more. So I said yes. We took it out. There's
a fire truck outside, and I'm so distracted right now, so I apologize. We've got the windows open because of the cool air. And it's just so loud.
All right. Can I just explain that he was laughing or like smiling and nodding at my story? And I was like, wow, I'm doing a really good job like telling this story. And then this whole time you were laughing at the fire engine?
Yeah, I apologize. It was a good story, though. You were talking about new pots and pans, right?
Speaking of our kids and their small attention spans.
No, you've been playing so much Marvel Champions with them. Our house, at the moment, we have a 7-year-old and a newly 5-year-old. We actually partied hard this weekend with our son, and he turned 5. It's like Marvel all day.
All day.
All the time.
Yep.
And like me personally, I've been waiting for them to like latch on to something. Like for a long time, our kids have just been interested in a lot of different things.
A mile wide and inch deep. That's what I say.
Sure. Yeah. That's how you cast fishing nets, I think. But they've been interested in a lot of different TV shows, toys, some color, some, whatever. And then all of a sudden, whatever it was, I don't remember if there's a time, but it was just like all of a sudden superheroes were it. Mm-hmm. And it's been almost this whole year, I would say, that it's just been crazy superhero. So
yeah. Well, they really liked Marvel Champions, which, sorry, let me back up. They really liked Marvel United, which we talked about on one of our previous podcasts. And also, it's on our blog if you want to look and see. We have an article about it that I wrote about playing with them. And that was a great, accessible for them. Is perfect for their age. Marvel Champions, if you've ever played it, it's probably, I don't know off the top of my head, it's probably 14 plus in the age category.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough game.
It's a tough game.
It's a tough game for a 14-year-old. It's a tough game for a 38-year-old, someone in this room.
Yeah.
But
not to mention you just need to know how to read, which the 5-year-old is just starting.
Yeah.
So I thought for sure this is going to be a dud, and of course they need help. So our kids are not prodigies. I'm not saying that they immediately understood it and they're now in tournament play. But they need help, and it sometimes fries my brain to try to play
2 or 3 other hands.
Yeah. But our daughter especially is actually kind of starting to get certain things, and even our 5-year-old who can't read the cards, he knows now that if he plays Captain America, he's like, I gotta get my shield. And
but he's starting to recognize cards too, and he knows that Heroic Strike looks like that, and so he's like, I can do 6 damage with this one, Mom.
I know. I was like, save that one, buddy. I know. So it's been fun. I've been playing a lot of Marvel Champions with the kids.
Yeah.
What's up with you, Christian?
Yeah, I would say I've been playing Marvel Champions as well with you mostly. I played a couple times with the kids. I usually buddy up with one of the kids just to kind of make it easier, because playing that four player with 2 kids that's a lot of brain power to try to make it all work together. But been really enjoying that, playing Ant-Man, the newest pack, which is really cool. He gets big and small, and it's fun.
Oh, and tell the listeners about your Etsy find.
Oh, yeah. I found this cool case for Ant-Man because we have been sleeving all the cards. This one allows you to keep it in a harder case and the big way or the big form, and then you flip it over and there's a slider on the other side that covers up the small side or the hero or the regular person side, so you can. It's hard to explain over audio, but it's just
we will put that on our.
It's a cool way to kind of display the card and keep it safe.
Yes.
Because I'm worried with the kids that they will bend the card, not on purpose, but they'll fight and reach across something, and then all of a sudden Ant-Man's just has a big old
dent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that showing up, and that'll be good for when Wasp also shows up.
Yeah, so, we'll have to put maybe a little visual of that on Married and Bored.
Yeah, well, I'll definitely link to that because I think another probably more popular podcaster blog linked to it as well, or I found it on Reddit, and I think they're very busy printing these things.
Merry Christmas to that business.
Yeah, definitely. So been doing a lot of that. Obviously, there's big news, Ange, in Fantasy Flight world.
Yes.
Fantasy Flight lost. I want to say lost, but they did lose all of their Star Wars miniature games. Those games were transferred out of their studio to a sister studio called Atomic Mass Games, which is the same studio that does Marvel Crisis Protocol, which is the Avengers miniatures game. So Asmodee, however you say it, decided to just consolidate a bunch of miniatures in that studio, and they took all the Star Wars miniatures away from Fantasy Flight, which is, I think that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
It's been X-Wing. It's been Fantasy Flight's biggest game since, I think it came out in 2012, maybe.
Well, we were just there this summer at the Fantasy Flight
Oh, yeah.
store.
That seems like so long ago.
I know. It was less than 6 months ago.
Yeah.
We were there, and there was that whole wall of X-wing.
Oh yeah, it's pretty crazy that they're losing that, and I don't know if employees transfer with or if people lost jobs, so that's always a bummer. But I guess in a way, it can make sense that they're just consolidating like products under one smaller umbrella with Atomic Mass, and then leaving just card and board games to Fantasy Flight. I don't know. What do you think about it? I mean, you're not really as as interested, but those games aren't as interesting to you.
Right. I'm not as into X-Wing. I remember we bought it and we played it. This was probably 5 years ago now, because we were at our other house, and I would of course play it. I'm not going to just say outright no like I do on like D&D. But it just wasn't my favorite. It wasn't something I loved. So I think you ended up playing it with your cousin a few times, and then we just decided to remove it from our collection because it wasn't something that we had replayability with.
That's such a nice way of saying got rid of it. We removed it from our collection. It's like an ancient manuscript.
It's a euphemism.
No, like X-Wing is a funny game for me personally because I love Star Wars. I love Star Wars more than Marvel, and I should be all over this game. I love Star Wars ships. I play Star Wars video games. I read books. I watch movies. We're watching Mandalorian. But like this one, I don't know what it was. It just did not press the right buttons.
Sure. Did you ever play Armada?
No.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, that wouldn't appeal to me either, but I remember seeing it.
It always to me looks great. Every Star Wars game, no matter what, I'm like, yes, right. I'm going to buy that. Even the new Legion, which is one of the games that moved over to the new studio. Like, I think it's great. I was like, I want to play that, but then I start thinking about it. It's like, no one will ever play that with me. And I don't even know if I'll play it. I just see the big, bold Star Wars on there, and I'm like, I need it.
As we said in Married and Bored episode 5, slap a Star Wars label on it, and Christian will love it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's what they're doing with Marvel right now, like Marvel Splendor. I'd play Star Wars Splendor.
Yeah.
I mean, I have Star Wars Monopoly.
It's true.
It's the original.
He does, you guys.
So anyways, that's just kind of big news. I'm curious to see what happens. You know, I would love a new Star Wars game from them that's like Crisis Protocol. I think that'd be really cool to put heroes together. Like, I want to be Han Solo, I want to be the Stormtrooper, Luke Skywalker, and the Mandalorian on this team, and I'll fight Darth Vader, Darth Maul, Leia, just stuff like that. I think that'd be really cool.
Well, interesting.
And I will probably think it looks really cool, and then probably not buy it because A, I can't paint, and B, I don't think anyone would play. So.
You know what? I hope you get a lot of responses that are just like, Christian, I would play with you.
Okay, yeah. Well, come on over.
Yeah. All right, we'll be right back to talk about our main segment and the game Targi.
All right, guys, like Angela said, we are talking about Targi, which is an awesome 2-player game. Angela, what is Targi?
Well, I see that you started to give my description there.
I did, but you love this part, and I don't want to sleep on the couch tonight, so...
It's never gotten that heated. Oh, okay. Well, it is a 2-player game. It's a competitive 2-player game. The players are going to take on the roles of tribes competing for control of Saharan trade routes. We're selling pepper and salt and dates. Mm-hmm. And some gold coins thrown in there.
That's true.
And the player with the most victory points at the end wins.
Yeah. And I will say it is a 2-player game, and it's only 2-player. You can't play more, you can't play less, so...
Which I think this is only our second one that we've ever talked about. Our first being Cosmic Encounter Duel.
Well, and we also did Watergate.
This is our third 2-player only game.
So we're on a roll. This is 3 for 3. Angela struck out, I think is the correct way to say it. Touchdown. We like this game.
How many sports references are you going to do?
No, I'm going to do it.
Struck out, touchdown. Okay. Before we get carried away, let's go back to our spot of 5 categories.
Yeah, let's do it. Ange, how easy is this game to set up and or tear down? Because that's important to get a game out when we have a very limited time to play.
Yes. Okay. Easy.
Okay, number 2.
Okay, let's explain. It has just cards, tokens, and meeples, and there's no game board. You create the game board out of the cards. And it's tableau building in the sense that you'll have kind of a player board that you make out of cards.
Yeah, your own personal area
Tableau.
to put your cards in, you know.
Yes. But it's a small play area, and just so you can visualize it if you haven't looked it up or seen it in a store, it's a smaller box game. So it's not this huge effort of stuff. You know, we had it on the same table that we had your Gloomhaven box on the other day, and it was just like, well, these are the opposite.
Yeah, if you have Seven Wonders Duel, or even if you have Watergate that we mentioned, it's the exact same size of those. And so it's just a really nice form factor. It's really small. It's kind of a cool size for 2-player games. For me, like, I see that size, and it's like, it's a 2-player game.
Yeah, I like
pretty
it.
Cool. Yeah, it's really easy to set up. It's set up the same way every time, which is a stupid sentence as I'm saying it, because all games are like that. But in that, you take the cards and you just make a border in the same way every time, and they're numbered, so you don't have to worry about what card goes where. You don't have to look up a map in the instructions to figure out how to do it. You just start at number 1, you go across, and the art on these cards is really cool, that the art actually turns on the corner cards so that you know that you're going to then go down and then go back across.
You make a rectangle.
Yeah, to make the box. So that really speeds things up and helps everything. And so it's very easy. Like Angela said, everything has its place. You can literally almost turn the box upside down and dump it out, put the cards where they go, and start.
Really,
it's almost that simple.
And so this is probably going to fit nicely with our second category, which is just how accessible is this to learn how to play? What do you think?
I would say learning to play is easy. It's easy to learn how to play. It's one of those where it's hard to master, which we can talk about later. But learning to play, you have 3 meeples that you're going to place on this grid, on the outer layer, not layer, but the border of this grid. And that's it. That's what you're going to do. You're going to alternate between your opponent, and then based on... So I was trying to figure out how to describe this on the show. Battleship, like coordinates?
That's how I would describe it. Because I feel like most people have played this children's game Battleship.
Okay, that's true.
Or an X and Y axis.
Yeah, and you put where you're going to put your 3 around the border, and then where they intersect in the row or column, you're going to put another little marker, and that's the card that you're going to activate that turn.
Yep.
Okay. Battleship.
That's how I would think of it.
You sunk my battleship.
So that's a good visual where you can understand that you're going to call out an X and a Y coordinate with your meeples, and where they meet, you're going to get the intersection of those two. You're going to get to activate that ability as well.
Yeah, and the abilities that you're going to be looking for are goods, which is the currency in the game. So, like Angela said, those dates, those salt, or pepper, which I call coffee because it's just
calls it coffee.
It looks
every
like a bag
time.
of coffee. And then there's gold, which is for me in this game really hard to get. I just can't understand how to get gold.
Can I tell them that one funny moment of our game this afternoon?
Yeah.
We decided, we've played it, we got it a month ago or so, and we played it quite a bit right after we got it. And then we played it this afternoon just to kind of refresh our memory. And it was Christian saying, man, how do you get gold in this game again? And then literally the next card we flipped over was a gold piece. And I was like, well, that's how you get gold. But in defense, it is very hard to get.
Yeah, I feel like in other games that gold is not the main currency. It's like one of those things you have to turn in other things to get gold, which you can do in this game. But you can also just get it in the same way you get coffee / pepper.
There is no coffee currency in this game. Christian calls the pepper coffee.
So, all in all, it's easy to learn, hard to master, which we will touch on later in this episode. Actually, in about 6 minutes.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah.
All right. But that also makes it replayable.
That's true.
Okay.
You're hitting all the categories right now.
Sorry, everyone. Okay, I get so excited. Number 3, how immersive is the experience?
Yeah, I think immersive, what we look for in immersive games, we love the story, we love the grandness of...
Epic.
Yeah, of a journey through Middle Earth, or we talk about Rebellion a lot. We don't play Rebellion a lot, but we remember playing Rebellion.
Good point.
So, in terms of that scope, this is not it. Obviously, if you think of those 2 boxes that I just mentioned, of those games, those are massive boxes.
Yeah.
Gloomhaven is probably very immersive once you get going. I'm stuck on level 2, and I die a lot. So right now, Gloomhaven is not very immersive either. However, this one, it's not that. But everything in it has its purpose.
It's probably not it's just not intended to be that.
No, exactly. It's not. It's purposeful.
Yeah. So you know, I feel like to answer the question just in a black and white way where it's like, how immersive is this? It's probably, you know, very low on our games that we find immersive, but I don't feel like that answers the whole question because like you said, it's just, that's not the intention of this game. It's not a big box game where you go on this epic journey and you get sucked into this story or this quest. I do like that they give a couple paragraphs at the beginning of the directions about the Targi, the people in North Africa, the Saharan desert.
Okay.
And, you know, the goods actually relate to goods in the area.
Yeah, and they're like time specific,
Yeah.
era specific, that you would find in a market like in Aladdin. You know, like that's what we think about every time we play this. So that's what they are. It makes sense. There's special actions that you can do. One is like a caravan. One is, what's another one? Like silversmith or a blacksmith or something like that.
What's the one where you can move your pawn? It's like Fata Matuda or something like that.
Yeah, something.
I butchered it, but it's, you know, like it's not just
move a pawn.
Yeah, they do. I feel like the creator did that region and that story justice. It's just not. It's not going to be this epic adventure.
Yeah, it's a fun little history lesson that you learn. Much like, I mean, not as in depth of Pax Pamir, but these two have very almost identical vibes, where it's just deserty, Middle Eastern stuff happening.
Yeah.
So, anything else to say on that?
Probably not. I feel like it could, the immersivity, is that a word? Could be increased for me with some more lifelike resources.
Okay. So, like maybe some gold coins.
Yeah.
Or some like Everdell style.
Salt, pepper, and dates. Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be cool. Mm-hmm. I mean, I was drinking coffee when we played this. And there
That's
are
why
coffee.
He kept saying coffee.
Coffee pieces, right?
There's no coffee in this game. Oh my goodness.
No, that's true. I mean, I think that's always something that as board gamers you probably look at when you're playing a game. It's like board game upgrades right now are huge. To Etsy's going crazy. I mentioned that at the top of the show for Marvel Champions.
Yeah.
The Pax Pamir that I also just mentioned, it came with metal coins, which you think is just like, all right, whatever. But it's so fun to just like clank them together, and you can feel the weight of them rather than just a piece of cardboard where you can flick them and spin them. It's neat.
It is. It does something to the game that I can't quite say, like, why.
I think it just brings it to life more. So that's a pretty easy upgrade for this that would increase this immersivity. So,
all right, fun factor. This is our fourth category, and this can mean so many things. So we try to be specific when we say fun, what that means, or if we say it's not fun, what that means.
Yeah.
So, what would you say?
For me, it is. I would say it's not fun in like the purest sense. It's not like going down a water slide fun. My hands are not up, sitting in my chair playing this game. I had a good analogy. I don't look forward to playing this game, but okay. I enjoy it when I am, if that makes sense.
Okay.
What about you?
Yeah, I don't think it's fun like you were describing. I don't think it's fun like that. I like that it's semi laid back and light in this, like I'm not planning turns and turns ahead or trying to keep so many things in my head straight, because the rules are not super complex. Mm-hmm. So I feel like I like that part about it. I know you disagree with this, and I think I do for the same reasons you said before we recorded, but it's kind of like Wingspan for me. Not the actual mechanics, but just how I feel about it in my brain.
Okay, explain.
Where like I feel like Wingspan, it's just kind of light around the table and conversation could flow if you wanted it to, but it doesn't have to if that's awkward. Mm-hmm. And you could have music on and you don't feel like people are directly battling you. So there's not this like weird energy of you stole all my...
You sunk my battle.
Yeah, you sunk my battleship. Or, gets combative like that, which definitely has its place and could be fun as well, mm-hmm. depending on the crowd you're with. But it just feels more light like that.
Okay.
Like Wingspan tends to feel for me. And I end up with the result of the game usually feeling like I played against myself for the best score I could achieve.
Okay. Instead
of having lost or beat you.
Okay.
Lost to you or beat you. I don't know. It's hard to explain. I guess it's that feeling of not super competitive.
Yeah. I mean, I feel in this game, I could wreck your turn way more than I can wreck a turn in Wingspan.
True.
Because there's only so many places I can put my little meeple on mm-hmm. the board. Mm-hmm. Because there's the robber that goes around the outside as well, which negates a card every time that you can't use.
Yeah.
And so if you're like, it happened to me the last time we played, I was waiting to do this one action and then like the next turn the robber was there and I was like, why
did I wait?
Why didn't I think of this, that this was going to happen? I can see it right there and I didn't see it. But yeah, something that always happens to me in this game is the cards change a lot. So, which is good. And there's a card out there that I want. And I cannot figure out a way, maybe I don't think there is in this game, for me to guarantee I can get that card.
Right.
Unless maybe if I go first, and then I hope you don't counter by putting it in the same row or column of the card that I want.
Yeah. Right.
So that could kill a turn. Especially if you can see the other, you can see the other players, little city tableau, mm-hmm. and like, oh, you're going for camps. I'm blocking this camp. Like,
so do you find that you look at what I'm trying to do?
I didn't this last time. I knew what you were trying to do, but I was more worried about what I was trying to do to keep up.
That's so interesting because I feel like in general, I would tend to be more like what you're describing. Like I would be the planner mm-hmm. who's trying to like look at what people are doing. But in this game, for some reason, and Wingspan as well, I'm just, hey, you do you. I'm going to do me. And
Yeah.
let's just see who comes out on
I think if you,
top.
for me though, if you start playing that game, then that's the game you're going to play. Mm-hmm. It's just like, well, I'm just going to play so she doesn't score points. And then you forget that
you have to score
I have to score points too. And so that ruins the rest of your game. So I was aware of what you were doing, but I wanted to also maybe beat you.
Okay, let me throw this. Just came to my mind. Let me throw this out there. I feel like this game is just kind of a great example of being able to think on the fly.
Yeah, it's a good one.
And being flexible.
Yeah.
Like you can have a plan based on the way the cards are set out for that turn, what you want to do, but like you said, that could quite easily get stopped. Mm-hmm. So then I feel like there's a lot of like mental adjustments.
Yeah.
Like, okay, first of all, did I actually get stopped? Could I somehow guarantee? Or do I have to rethink what I was going to do this turn? And and there's a resource limit, so you got to be, you can't just stockpile resources, which I like about this game too. So
yeah, and one of the greatest things about this game is that if you stockpile resources, the game's mechanic is the next turn, there's not as many resources to get. It forces you to spend them the next turn because that's all that's in the market. That's all you can get. Mm-hmm. So it's really cool how there is that limit of what you can have in your stash, but you're going to spend it anyways because the game is going to force you to.
Yeah.
So that's really cool.
That is true.
That's a neat mechanic. I tried so hard to beat you today. And that's probably why I was looking.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I got to figure out how to get more points because I never win games anymore. Like we win Marvel Champions together in co-op games, but like when we go head to head, usually I lose. Unless it's a direct game. If we're playing
Combat,
Magic the Gathering or whatever, which we never play, but that's an example. I would probably win. Mm. But these more like, they're all heady games, but this one's just different. Mm-hmm. You usually end up winning.
We haven't played a directly competitive game in
a while.
Yeah. I mean, I know Targi's competitive and someone does win.
No, but in your mind, like...
I'm talking like a Key Forge
like a head-to-head.
Or a Destiny.
Yeah, those are like head-to-head for sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we haven't done one of those in a while.
So I would say it's fun. You're not going to be laughing and falling off your chair and having that kind of time. But it's going to be a good game to keep like conversation going and the night progressing and everyone will... feel like they accomplished something, but didn't have to like fry their brain to think about it.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's not one like I said that I ever really look forward to playing, but once it gets going, it's good. Mm-hmm. It's like the classic chicken sausage
game. That's what it is for you. Oh.
That's right.
Okay.
So we may have talked about it a little bit, but our last topic we like to touch on is it worth it? Was this game worth it for you, Angela? This is a very literal definition of it. And for me, it's basically what I just said in the last section of there's so much going on every time. Mm-hmm. And that helps me like this game more. It's always different. You never know what you're going to get. The path on the outside is the same every time, but it's the cards in the middle that change out constantly and keep you on your toes.
Yeah. So I mean, it's definitely worth it. It's because it's a smaller box game. It's not $100.
No, I paid $17 for it.
Right. And so you think about like what we paid for it and how many times we would, because it's quick, relatively speaking. I mean, it's not the quickest game we own, but it's under 30 minutes.
Yeah, I was going to say 45.
Maybe right at 30.
Yeah.
So it's like right at 30. Maybe if you're kind of picking it up again off the shelf or learning it for the first time, it's more than that. But it's quicker and you're going to have a new experience every time. And I think it's definitely worth it. We're going to play it way more than we play Star Wars Rebellion or even Mansions of Madness or things that are
more time
just
consuming,
harder to get out of the box.
Yeah, for sure.
Mentally and literally.
Yeah, this is a good game to just scratch the board game itch with. If you just have a limited amount of time.
Yeah.
So it's really good. It's also a classic tale, a classic. Christian brought home a game and you had no idea what it was.
Yep, that's true. That does not happen as infrequently as people would think.
It's usually all the time.
It happens quite a bit.
It's usually all the time.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so Targi's great. We enjoy it. It's a cheap one if you're looking for something to grab before, the holiday break. This is definitely one, and you just have a couple people to play. Just two. That's all it is. It's just a two-player game. So if you're like us, and you're only two in your house who play games, you should definitely be giving Targi a look. And it does actually have an expansion, which is new. As the game itself, I think, is actually like 8 years old. But they had released a 2.0 version of the game, kind of. And it adds new cards to the game, which... What I've heard is it actually just changes the whole game. So if you want to play Targi, get the first one. And if you play a ton of Targi and you want something new, you can get this expansion that replaces... I don't even know what it replaces. If it replaces the outer rim of the cards or the actual resource cards and stuff itself. So
interesting.
So that is an option. So yeah, definitely check it out.
Awesome. We'll be right back after this. This episode is sponsored by Show It. Hey, Christian, why do we love Show It?
Well, we love it because we are terrible at designing websites.
That is true.
And we were able to make our site using Show It in a couple hours.
Yeah, if you're stuck in some boring website template, you need to check out Show It and experience what they have to offer. It's really simple. It's drag and drop. And our website, if you've never been there, is beautiful, if I may say so myself.
Yeah, we use Show It to make it, and you can get started for free. Showit.co. Check it out. All right, welcome back, everybody. Thanks for listening to our kind of breakdown of Targi. We had a lot of fun with it, like we just said, so check it out, right?
Definitely.
And we mentioned it multiple times in the last segment. Targi is a two-player game. It's an only two-player game.
Yes.
Angela, you and I play two-player games 98% of the time we play games, right?
Because there's two of us, yes.
Yeah, so we were just kind of we were looking at our games and just an interesting conversation that we had this week in between this game and other games is what games can you play with more, but for us are really good at two players? Or what games do we play with two players, but we wish we played with more? The opposite, are better with more.
Yeah. And I think the conversation usually stems from we sit around and we play a game and we think to ourselves, wow, that was fun. But wouldn't it be fun if there was more people? But it's really an interesting thing that Targi brought up is that it's made for two people and that's it.
Yeah.
So
Watergate and Seven Wonders Duel, which we haven't played yet, but it is built specifically for two players.
Undaunted Normandy.
Yeah, that's one. That's right.
Unmatched we've played. So when you have games that are specifically built for two players, you like it or you don't, but you don't not like it because there's something missing.
Yeah.
In terms of players around the table, it's something else. It was specifically designed to only have two people around the table.
Of all those that you just mentioned, I really like playing all those. I think my least favorite out of those is maybe Watergate. I think I like the history more than I like the game.
Yeah.
That's my favorite part about Watergate. Playing the game is just, it's not super fun.
Right.
It's not exciting as it is to read the history of that famous scandal.
Yeah, I mean, there's Cosmic Encounter Duel and Keyforge, right?
Well, Keyforge, I would say it's two-player, but I don't put that in this category because it's just more like a head-to-head.
Okay.
I would for me personally, put that separate.
Okay. And we, for my birthday this past year, you gave me Fox in the Forest
Duet. Or duel, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we've played that a couple of times, and that's specific for 2 players. They're really good, and it shows when you build a game specifically for 2 players.
Mm-hmm.
Now, because we play 2-player games a lot more, the majority of the games we have are made for 2 to 5, 2 to 6.
Mm-hmm.
So something, and don't want to beat the dead horse, but we'll just say Marvel Champions for us really shines at 2 players. Because we played it, we know how to work with each other to get the job done, right? We throw in a third, like whether it's a friend of mine who comes over and plays sometimes, or trying to teach our kids. All of a sudden, that villain goes from a respectable 21 health to a crazy 43 health.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what? Like, why does the villain's health multiply by 900? And then my Ant-Man still is only 12. Like, it's just crazy to me how high it scales. It's a normal thing to do in these type of games, where it's like, based on how many people you have, that's how much damage you take, or that's how much health the bad guy gets.
Yeah, I do think that Marvel Champions is one of the few games that could have more than 2 players that I feel is better at only 2 players.
Yeah.
Because usually it's the opposite for me. When a game says that it can be for 2 to 4 or 2 to 5 or 2 to 6, we usually feel like there's something. Now, the degree of that can range, but like there's something missing in the 2-player experience. Whether that's just like, oh, it's just a little bit more intriguing with more people, or where it's like, okay, this is dumb with just 2 people.
Well, I feel like right now, PAX Premiere is not dumb with 2 people, but something is severely...
There's a huge gap.
Something is severely lacking.
Yeah.
And now we haven't played that in a while, and we haven't added the automatic player. Mm-hmm. So we don't know. Yeah. But that's a great example of something where it's like, we feel like with 2-player, we're like, what are we missing here?
Yeah.
I think Outer Rim is a great example of that too. Once we started playing that with a third, I don't think we've played it with 4.
No,
just
3.
But just with 3, the galaxy was new again.
Yeah, I think Outer Rim was a good experience at 2, and then once we did add the third, you realized how much you were missing.
Oh, it's so much better.
But then, like, to describe PAX Premiere, I know there's something missing.
With 2?
Without even having played the 3rd or 4th person.
Yeah.
Like, I can just feel that this is not what the full play experience should be like.
Yeah.
Kind of like that with Scythe, for sure, when we were playing Scythe.
Definitely.
Because we played that one with even 5? Was at least 4.
You have played it with more than just me?
Well, you, me, Charlie, and John. Okay. And I don't know if...
I think it was just 4.
Okay. Yeah. So the 4 of us sat down, and so this was probably, 2 years ago now. Yeah. But when you go back to just 2 players, and Christian and I take it out, can we play it 2 players? Yes. Is it as good? No.
Is it worth it to play the 2 players?
Right.
No. Yeah. That's very true. I think I've played that with 5, maybe 6 with work game group, and it was insane. Like, insane good, but it was there's so much going on.
Yeah, and Western Legends is another good example of that.
So there's all these games that we have, and we just want to play with people, which we say all the time, and it's just interesting that, like, that we have this conversation a lot.
Yes. So it's fun for us when something feels like it's made for us.
There you go.
It's made for 2 people, and it's specifically thought of and designed for only 2 people to get the full play experience. Mm-hmm. And that's neat. It's not the same type of game necessarily, but Fog of Love was like that when we did that over Valentine's Day.
That's right. I forgot we had that.
When you're thinking, no, like this would be weird if there was a 3rd or 4th person, and Targi, it would just, the axes would fall apart if there was a 3rd or 4th person. So I really like I really like that idea that it was designed and implemented with only 2 people in mind. Now, I will throw this out there because I just thought of it. Our friends, our families, our friends, Jason gave us Unlock that he had.
Oh, yeah, those like escape-ish room.
Escape box games, so it was an Unlock, and he had done it with his family, and there's, he and his wife and his 2 kids. So they did it with 4. And his kids are a step older than ours, so they all worked on it together. And then he gave it to us to try because they had solved the puzzle. And Christian and I did it just by ourselves. And I haven't done it with 4, like Jason has, but we did it with just the 2 of us. And afterwards I said, I think this would be harder the more people you try to fit around this table.
Yeah, I don't think you'd want more than 4. For sure.
I think it excels at like 2.
Well, we still lost. Let's get that. We didn't solve it.
But I mean, like in terms of just everyone's trying to read it and hover around the same puzzle. And so if there's, the more people there are, the more people that are left out of the experience. But there's very few games that I can think of that are designed for more than 2 people that are better when you play 2 people.
That really shines it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, except the Marvel Champions. Arkham Horror, the card game, for us, probably does too.
We've only played that too.
Yeah, we don't play that
2-player
very often, but I feel like from what I read online, I don't think people are playing that with like 3 other people. Like, that's just too much. It's too much of that multiply by the number of players that just makes it so crazy.
Another recent one was Mariposas that shined when more than 2 people played it.
Oh yeah, it got so much better. The board really like opened up, and you could see more tokens. And yeah, that's a great. That might game of the year 2020 for me maybe. We'll see.
Woo! We'll see. We'll see. There's fourth quarter magic that's got to happen, I guess.
But we're in the home stretch.
So, and I know there's a lot of people out there that are playing with either their significant other or maybe just a roommate. And you don't necessarily have a gaming group. And we don't really have a steady gaming group either. Like, sometimes we invite limited people over. COVID has kind of messed with that.
Oh, yeah.
But if you don't have that, like, consistent gaming group, usually you are seeking out either solo, which I love to talk about, folks.
Yeah, that's right.
Or a 2-player experience, and Targi is a good one.
You know what game was fun at 2 players? Was Parks. Parks was really fun. But it's one of those where it seems like it should be great at 2. But once we started playing with 3, it was so much better.
Right.
So many more decisions had to be made. So we need to add more people.
Unless you get a specifically 2-player game, then you don't feel like you're missing anything.
Yeah, that's right. So what's your favorite 2-player game? Whether it's a specific 2-player game or just a game that's made for more, but you play with 2. Let us know what that is on Instagram at Married and Bored, or send us an email, hello@marriedandbored.com.
Yes.
Let's take a break, Ange.
Okay, we'll be back.
And we'll go upstate for the summer. All right, everybody, as we wrap up the show, we are just going to talk about things other than board games.
Yeah.
Yeah, Angela, what's been going on in your life besides board games? We like to just talk about this. It's a new thing we've been doing lately to kind of just expand your knowledge of us.
Because you all want to know more about us.
Because there'll be a test, right? Isn't that how this works? Podcast tests.
Okay, well,
what's bringing your joy outside of games, Ange?
Okay, well, as kind of as an answer to this, but more as like a prelude, if you will.
Oh,
it's a prologue.
Same thing.
So our BGG Secret Santa.
Oh yeah, I was going to talk about that too. I totally forgot.
Is amazing.
Yeah.
If you are not doing the BGG Secret Santa, it's too late this year.
Yeah.
So sorry. But next year, put it on your countdown on your phone.
Yeah, someone on Instagram reached out to us and said that we not caused them, but encouraged them to sign up this year.
Yeah.
And I've said it 700 times on this show already, but they got Marvel Champions from their Secret Santa.
Oh my gosh. It's so great.
I know.
So anyway, our BGG Secret Santa is amazing. And we only know he or she under the name of Shiny the Elf.
Shiny up a tree.
Yeah. So I'll be referring to he or she as Shiny right now. So Shiny emailed us and told us, one, that there would be multiple packages coming, but two, asked us what we like besides board games or hobbies or something like that.
Yeah.
And you wrote back and said, we read a lot.
We like to read, we like coffee, and we like music.
Yeah.
And then like 3 days later, we got an Amazon package that had a pound of coffee and a Star Wars novel.
And I was immediately in tears. No, it was wonderful.
It's crazy. I do want to say one story that we did get the original message from Shiny. You got it before I did. And you kind of freaked out because, not like freaked out excited, but you were like, who's sending us messages? I don't know what this means.
Well, because, background, this is our second year of doing it.
Yeah, this is only our second year.
Yeah, so last year, which is totally fine. I'm not disappointed in last year's experience, but we didn't receive any messages.
No, last year was just kind of standard. We bought our gift. They bought us a gift. And to be honest, we're not doing anything like we're receiving. We're going to send them a message and say, hey, happy holidays. Mm-hmm. Something's coming. And then we'll send them something.
Right.
Our Santa, whoever you are, is going above and beyond the normal.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Bringing so much joy.
So it's great, like, to get personal gifts from him or her.
Yeah, from Shiny.
So it's pretty amazing. That's where we got Seven Wonders. We also got Point Salad, which is another game that the kids have been all over. And every time we play that game, I always tell them that whatever cards they have in their deck at the end are the vegetables they have to eat tonight.
What they don't realize is that's the only choice in the game is vegetables. Oh, man. Okay, so that was my prelude to say, like, what's always on our mind besides board games is coffee and books.
That's true.
Beyond that, this might be, like, for both of us. You tell me what you think.
Okay.
We have been watching, and we have finished The Queen's Gambit.
Oh, yeah. Queen's Gambit on Netflix is awesome. If you're looking for something to watch this holiday season, bonus, it's about a board game, maybe one of the oldest board games, chess.
Chess.
Yep. And it's great. It's about a young girl who is a chess grand master.
It's amazing.
And it is so well done that I thought it was a true story. Like, it was, you'd think it might be.
Yeah.
Just by they play Soviets, she learns chess from an old man in a basement, and, like, all these, like, not
She's
classic stories. Yeah, like, it's like, this has to be a true story. And then you find out that it's not. That it's just a really well-written book, right? It's a book.
Yeah, it's a book.
And obviously made into a series on Netflix. So, watch it. It makes us want to play chess. I don't think I've played chess in probably 10 years.
Can I put chess on my BGG wish list?
Probably. I mean, we could probably get it for like $8 at Target.
That was a joke. Christian doesn't laugh at my jokes. Oh, man. So, yeah, I've been really interested in chess. Really enjoyed The Queen's Gambit.
Yeah.
So, that is a good recommendation from me to you.
That's right.
You're welcome.
Is our net... You wrote Netflix, which is not... what
Netflix.
So we've been doing that, and that's been great. We also touched on the fact that we had our son's birthday. We partied hard. We ate cake. We had ice cream. We watched Marvel movies. We just did everything that he wanted to do. He turned 5, so...
And as any good father would do, he has stolen 2 of our son's presents for his own use.
What I read the book.
Number 1 is the Marvel Encyclopedia that you got him.
Yeah.
Christian's been reading that.
Of course.
and looking up characters.
I have to learn about Flag Smasher. Look it up. He's real.
Number 2, our son got, as you use the term, lifelike, which is laughable because this character is not real anyway, but a very good rendition of the child from The Mandalorian.
Oh, man, that is my favorite.
And Christian has been carrying him around.
I may have not carried it around like a baby the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah. It looks so real. It looks just like that thing on The Mandalorian. It is so cool.
Oh, man.
I love it. But he's sleeping with it right now, and he just laying next to him. It's just like, he's there. It's Baby Yoda.
Oh, man. And so it's another endorsement for Mandalorian, if you haven't watched that.
FFG, make more Star Wars games. I will buy them. So, I think that's it. Watch Queen's Gambit. Play with Star Wars games.
Watch The Mandalorian. Buy Targi.
Yeah. And just everybody have a good holiday that's coming up. Thanksgiving here in the U.S. We'll talk to you in a couple weeks more as we get closer to Christmas. But everyone stay safe. Angela, how can they get in contact with us?
Okay, you can go to our website, and then you will find a form filler there if you want to fill that out. Or email us at hello@marriedandbored.com. Or on Instagram, we share some pictures and some stories, and you can always direct message us at Married and Bored.
Yeah, and if you want to see a couple pictures of the stuff our Secret Santa sent us, those are on our saved stories, so you can definitely check those out. Well, thank you for tuning in, Targi. We had a good time talking about this game.
Yes.
Play it if you get it. We'll play it again. We'll catch you next time.
Sugar dates and figs. Sugar dates and pistachios. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Married and Bored podcast. And guess what? We have a website where you can listen to podcast episodes and so much more. Find us at marriedandbored.com, or you can email us at hello@marriedandbored.com, or follow us on Instagram at marriedandbored. Music in this episode is by Joseph McDade. See you next time.